I've spent multiple hours on a number of occasions creating and optimizing knowledge bases just so that my chatbots would output some consistent data. But I've come up with a system that does all the hard work for you and allows you to create high quality and consistent knowledge bases rather than multiple ineffective ones. Today, I'll walk you through how to import this system and teach you how to use it for your use case in 3 simple steps. Firstly, we'll go through the system in make.com and align it with how we can use it for your particular use case. Then, we will edit and compile the data to make it higher quality, and to finalize, we will upload the new knowledge base to the chatbot and test it out. Let's get into it. But quickly, if you clicked on this video and you don't know who I am, my name is Kai, and I've been automating sales processes within small to medium-sized businesses for the past 5 months. So if you are a business owner looking to see what AI can do for you in your business, feel free to check out the links below. Made an account on make.com. It's free. You just sign in with your Google account. You land on a page that's similar to this one, and what you want to do is click on scenarios. It'll most likely be empty, so you click create new scenario, and there you go. Now, to easily import the automation on the description, you download it, and it'll be saved as a JSON blueprint in your computer. And what you do here is you click blueprint, import blueprint, choose file, and the latest one should be the blueprint. So you click save here, and the automation's mostly set up on your account. I want to walk through a few concepts here just before we get any further. Now, this automation, what it does is it deals with the problem of garbage in, garbage out. Now, this is a concept that essentially entails the information that you put into an AI, so the knowledge base, right? If it's garbage, the output of that AI will also be garbage. So I just want to get clear that this whole automation automates this process and does so with high quality. And I figured in my case, and for many people's cases, extracting data from YouTube and turning that into a knowledge base is essentially very important and, well, very high leverage for in many use cases. So to start off with this trigger, there are many YouTube triggers that you can choose from. So if you go through YouTube, you can watch videos on a particular channel, videos under a search term, a playlist, or new comments. Now, essentially these 3 would be the main ones you're looking for in terms of videos. But essentially what I did is it watches a new playlist, and the playlist that I put out was the Alex Hormozi's The Game. I already made an account, but what you can do is you can create a connection again by signing in with Google. To find a playlist ID like this one, or to find a channel, you essentially need to go ID and ID finder for the channel, and all you need to do is put in the channel handle, and because that's what comes up here. And this is only like as though it was their Instagram handle. It's at and then something like their name or something, and you can most likely find this on their URL. So you click at Alex Hormozi, okay, and then everything else should work. So this is watching the playlists for The Game. See here all the playlists that he's got, and I want to see only this one. So once you've done that, you can choose from, or manually, the ones that you want to choose from to run the automation. But if you really want this to go on autopilot, you either go on a specific date, have them running from a particular date, or you click from now on, which is what I'm going to click here. Now, the second step of this process is to configure your own API key, which will pull in all the data from the transcript of that video. What you need is a new API key. We're going to this URL here. So if you put this on the search bar, you go to an endpoint like this. And as you can see, I've already made an API key, but pretty much the YouTube transcript extractor is something that you can log into with using your Google account. You go to profile, and then once you've done that, it gives you an API, or the option to make an API token. So once you've done that, you can copy that, come over here and paste it. Leave the basic, leave this, and leave a space after it as well. You can paste that into there, and everything else is pretty much ready to go. This is the request content, which is pretty much the idea of the video that it wants to extract, which comes from our trigger. You click save. Now, these next few modules might look a bit confusing, but pretty much the purpose of them is to structure the data that comes in and configure it so that we only get the transcript from the video. So the way this works is when this responds to the request, it comes in with so much information that it will be too much for the AI part to handle here, which we'll get into in a second. But essentially what these do is it filters out only the transcript from the payload response and feeds it into the AI. And this is the most important part, which I'll show you guys. So into the AI module, you need an API key. I'd used Anthropic because in terms of writing and generating text, it's much better than ChatGPT. what you need for that is go to anthropicconsole.com. You sign in with your email. Once you've done that, they send you an email to sign in, and here you can load your wallet with $5, which is more than enough, and then you can get an API key. So that's how you get the API key. Once you've done that, your whole automation is set up. I'm not doing it on this one because I've already paid my wallet on this account, and essentially, so you can see that it's the exact same thing, and mine has already run today. It runs every day at 11 a.m., which is how I chose to set it up. And as you can see here, this is so much data that we need to filter out only the text, only the transcript for the AI to read through. Once it does so, I just want to touch on a key point here, which is the prompt. You leave everything as blank. Okay, because this prompt is what's going to generate the structured output for your knowledge base to be nice and clean and high quality. And what this will do is it will create a Google document under any file of your choosing, any folder of your choosing. So I've got a folder here designated just for these automations, and all of these are under the game, so the playlist that we've talked about. And this is the one that you just saw run, which is a sales. Here it is. It's a sales document, the information that we're going to pin to our main knowledge base, right? And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So in this step 2, you want to really just have a brief overview of the information. Make sure that you want to filter, that you have all the quality information there. Sometimes if you already have sales, the topic of sales in a knowledge base, maybe you don't want all of it. So this is a step that I like to go through, which is just editing. But what makes this automation really powerful is that you can take all of these documents and append it all to one single file, which is a docx file. It's a Word document. And what we're going to do here is we're going to copy and paste all of this to the end of this. Now I just want to set something clear here. This is a perfect structure for the AI to look for information and output it exactly as it was fed to it, or in this case from the YouTube video. And this is honestly a great way to play around with information and to use your knowledge bases. So as you can see here, the file has not been updated yet. So if I ask something like the closer framework, which is a sales term not in the knowledge base, what is the closer framework? So it couldn't find anything, right, to do with the closer framework, because I've prompted it to say, I don't know, to some extent, if it doesn't have that information. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click on the knowledge bases that already exist, and we're going to add the latest one, which we've just made. Or rather, we're going to have to save this one first, so that it saves. We're going to attach that one, and we're going to get rid of the other one. And you can see on the upload date that it was the oldest one. We're going to close that. Now we're going to clean the thread and ask it again. And now it knows exactly how to communicate it based on the information on the document. And pretty much you're done. You no longer need several documents for different purposes. Obviously, if they're very divergent topics, then that's something I would recommend. But again, this is my business strategist bot, so everything related to this comes from Alex Hormozi, so the business podcast, which makes it relevant to have everything compiled into one document, which is fine. And as you can see, the data comes back perfectly fine as well. So there you have it, a functioning system that allows you to create consistent, high-quality knowledge bases. Although it's a very simple setup, many builders overlook this when making their own chatbots. And once you get it right, it can be very, very powerful. If you're a business owner looking to implement knowledge bases such as these into your chatbots, maybe you need them to have large information about your customers or your business to automate your sales processes. And that's something that we can definitely help you with, and we would love it if you got in touch with us. So feel free to click the links down below and reach out. Until next time.